Welcome to another episode with the Culture Jockeys, where we spin for you the latest and greatest in arts and entertainment. With a slight change of location, we are no longer in the most relaxing room on campus, but rather a close candidate. We are in the music room in the Leverett House basement, and I'm Sherry Hu. I'm one of the co-hosts, and I'm a rising junior now. I'm studying statistics and music, full-fledged music nerd, and I'm actually doing music research over the summer here on campus, so I'm super excited for that. And I'm very glad as Richard, to be starting podcasting again. Richard, why don't you introduce yourself?
Before I introduce myself, how would you describe this room in one adjective?
It's dank. This room's pretty dank to me.
Dank is a nice word, actually.
It's very nice.
Did you just think of that word?
I just thought of it now. Yeah, I don't.
It's not like we had a discussion.
It just totally just came from the sky.
Wow.
It fell in front of me.
Jeez. Yeah. Like your mother last night, Trebek. And we're back, folks. Back in the rhythm, back in the groove. It's good to be back.
Indeed. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I do want to introduce myself. I am Richard. This introduction has gone on for way too long. This is Richard, and I'm concentrating in psychology. Here, also doing psychology research. And yeah, no, I haven't podcasted in a while.
It's been a while. It's a while, meaning like 3 weeks now?
Yeah, 3 weeks is a long time to be on hiatus.
It's a pretty long time.
But I was... Over the 4 weeks I was at home, I promised myself that I would do something for you guys. I had filmed a Let's Play for The Witcher 3.
Oh, yeah?
And I had over 4 hours of footage, and I'm still in the process of cutting it down.
It's going to be great, though, I'm sure. Is it just you by yourself?
Actually, cutting it, yeah, it's by myself. I'm just reacting to things. And it's terrible. It's totally unfunny. Like, these are things I would laugh. Maybe I wouldn't even laugh at. That's how bad it is. It's just,
okay.
Geez.
No, your editing skills will totally...
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Make people laugh.
So, the audience is expecting a little bit of we're talking about a movie or an album and us to have a broader topic, but actually, we're changing things up a little bit, aren't we?
We are. So, at least for this summer, we're going to change the format up a bit. Instead of doing 1 hour-long episode each week, we'll split it up into 2 episodes of around 30 minutes each. And the first episode each week will be a topic of the week. It could be anything related to film or not, like pet peeves, favorite food, just anything on our minds, on our nerves that we want to talk about.
And we will take requests from our 3 listeners.
3. I think it's gone up to 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know Judy, John, my mom. Thanks, Mom. Actually, my mom would never be watching this. I was kidding. I love you, Mom. Anyways.
And then our second episode each week, we'll go back to our usual, movie plus general topic format.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see how this new, structure plays out.
I mean, basically, we're just cutting down on our original segment and adding another one.
Right.
That's just as long. And just to diversify our material a little bit, let people, listen in on different things. And it allows us to talk about more than just, movies and albums.
Right, which, already gives so much material, but...
Yeah. I mean, it allows us to take a step back from the analytical approach and just to... I mean, we're still going to be analyzing things. I like to think so, but less serious.
Yeah, less serious. A lot broader in terms of things we can cover.
Yeah. So, what is our topic this week, Sherry?
Our topic this week is what Richard has just called racial fluidity, which I find very interesting. What is that? So, I guess to give you an example... One really strong catalyst for this topic is Rachel Dolezal's recent resignation from the NAACP Spokane chapter. She was its head, and she is notorious for identifying as Black, even though her parents have vocally said no, she has basically all Caucasian descent. And they've even said she's done such good work for the NAACP, why can't she just do it while maintaining her white identity? And, yeah. What do you have thoughts on this?
I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough call to make, because from one end, of course, this is her choice. I mean, everybody has an agency to define themselves and whatever identity they choose to do. But then again, we are born with certain traits, male, female. We're born with a certain sex. But then, as Caitlyn Jenner has so graciously shown us these past few weeks, it's that no, you can make a choice, and I respect that. I really do. I think that's great that we live in a society. I mean, for the most part, live in a society that can accept that, as Vanity Fair has offered to showcase that. Yeah. But on the others, people are still angry about this.
Yeah.
They're angry because it's a white woman masquerading as a black person.
Yeah, and that could come off to a lot of people as maybe like exploiting, like as trying to benefit from, I guess, minority cultures when like it's not necessary. Well, that's debatable. So.
I don't see any benefit in being in a minority. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Because okay, so let's first establish our stake in this. For me personally, I don't follow the NAACP at all.
Yeah, actually, me neither. I like that.
Second of all, we're not black.
Right.
So we can't really. I guess I feel terrible trying to speak for them. We're speaking just as people who are observing from an outsider perspective. Mm-hmm. We're Asian. We're also somewhat minorities, although some would argue that we're the majority, especially in a place like this.
Right.
But no, in America, we're considered a minority for sure, and I feel that a lot of times we're treated like that. So I mean, I can feel a lot. I mean, I can sympathize with a lot of the struggles that any other minority might struggle through as well.
Yeah. Maybe
not to the same extent as they do, but still, we're still in a very similar position. But yeah, that's our stake in this, right? Mm-hmm. You personally, how about you? How invested are you in? What's your name?
My name is Sherry.
Oh, her.
Yeah. Her.
Sorry.
Rachel Dolezal.
Dolezal,
I believe is how you say her name. Yeah.
All right. Oh.
I don't know. It's very interesting. So this Vanity Fair article they recently published, comparing Caitlyn Jenner to Rachel Dolezal, and like if there's transgenders, there's such a thing as transracial. And the title of the article said like it's not crazy to compare the two, but there's actually a pretty big fundamental difference, which that explains why people are like opposed to Rachel's actions, but like supportive of Caitlyn Jenner's actions. And I think it's the fact that despite having a choice, there is proven evidence of genetic differences in like gender, and there's been some evidence of like genetic origins of like homosexuality, for example. So that explains why like you can't choose to be like homosexual or not. Whereas there isn't that sort of evidence in race. So I guess transgender people can make a stronger argument to say that like I was born this way. This is how Lady Gaga.
I was thinking, oh wow, I gotta resist.
Right. But like, yeah, I was born this way. I felt this way since I was a really young child, and this is how I've always meant to be. Mm-hmm. And that argument isn't as clear in Rachel's case.
Okay. Yeah. So for Rachel, that's what she says, right? That's her rhetoric. She's saying that I was born this. I mean, I felt this way ever since I was born.
Rachel didn't say that ever since she was born, but she did say, I saw an interview on the Today Show, like as a child or like growing up, she became more attached to like the black identity or black culture. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to discount that. I can see that as being true.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that's completely false because I don't want to believe that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that. And is it entirely bad to want to identify with another group of people? Especially if you like, say, their culture in general, mm-hmm. whether it be their music or their food, mm-hmm. or whatever else, right? Like, I totally want to be Japanese because I love ramen. Right? Oh, geez. One day I decided to be Japanese. I mean, actually, the one day I decided to be Japanese, no one would care at all. Because people like, we totally thought you were Japanese the entire time. Mm-hmm. And, well, yeah. But I think the main issue here, because like, okay, I think that brings up an interesting case then, the idea that one Asian can totally be another Asian if they wanted to. Like, I feel like that's the whole sensation of the, is it the otaku?
Otaku? Is that?
It's basically anyone who just wants to be Japanese, like just immersed in Japanese culture.
Really?
They're basically, and they want to learn Japanese. I have many friends who are like that.
Oh yeah, many Caucasians are very more into Japanese culture than like I will ever be, and
Yeah,
like,
more than my Japanese friends.
Yeah, oh yeah, and no one's really calling them out for that.
Exactly.
At all. Yeah.
So the main issue that people see here is it's a white person choosing to be black, and of course, as we all know, they have history.
Right. This is like exactly. So I think the issue is that the relationship between those two races is like so historically emotionally charged that it just like you can't avoid criticism like no matter what.
In fact, any sort of interaction between white people and black people will be construed as racist.
Right.
It's just,
it's so form, yeah.
Yeah, really. You just look hard enough. It's like, wow, that's racist.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So like in light of this issue, I immediately thought to all the stories every year, fraternities and sororities like mocking black culture or like exploiting it. Like putting on blackface for parties. Like that's very clearly offensive, and some people argue that what Rachel has done is like on the same level, but I'm convinced that it's a bit more complex than that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, it's... I mean, wait, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the college students who are putting on their black makeup?
Blackface, I guess.
Blackface.
Or, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like, what they actually use.
Yeah.
But yes, they put on these... And it's not even just, like, African Americans. There's also parties about the Mexican ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
And such.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it in order to, I wouldn't say, celebrate the whatever ethnicity they're trying to...
It's true. They're not trying to help whatever minority they're... they're trying to bring them down. True.
Really, yeah. Just, I guess... Like, what cause would you have to do that? Other than it being...
To assert your superiority and, yeah. What you mean from the perspective of those college students.
Okay. So, let's deconstruct this for a bit. Like, what part of these making it... what part of masquerading as different races asserts your superiority? Some of these partiers, or those who partake in these festivities, might argue that, we just want to be like them. In what way is it asserting superiority? That's my question to you, Sherry.
In what way is it asserting superiority?
Because it's very easy to jump from just that to, dang, that's terrible, that's racist.
Right. So blackface, I think because blackface is like historically not, it was not done to support blacks. It was meant to like make fun of them.
Yes, it originated in cinema.
Right.
Early, I think one of the first films was a blackface film, right? I'm not sure.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, like, for one of the first films was like a train film going out of the screen, but one of the first like sound, I believe it was first sound film, yeah. Was a blackface film.
Yeah, and I think most of these cases of colleges imitating other cultures is to strip them down to a very like superficial, often like silly or like not. It just doesn't come off as like people who can think for themselves. They just like wear all these like random clothes. They do all these dances, and like that's the extent of their understanding of that culture. I think that's
I totally feel you, and I totally agree. I think it's distilling these very complex, very rich cultures into just 3 stereotypes. Right. It's like nachos and tacos.
Exactly.
And sombreros, right? Like,
yeah.
And you can from a person who is, say, Mexican would be like, well, we don't always wear sombreros. Right. We don't always eat tacos.
Yeah.
Is this if this is what you think of us? We're not just about that. I hope you can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I think that's a part of these people who are throwing these parties. Like that's part of their ignorance, if anything. If that's all they can produce out of a celebration of someone else's ethnicity or race or ethnicity, I'm still like bogged down by the distinction there. But for now, let's just make them interchangeable here. I hope you guys can forgive us.
Sure. So bringing in now something movie related. So there's a film that came out called Aloha, and it's set in Hawaii, and there's the main character, Allison Ng, is supposed to be Asian American, So like some Swedish descent, but like mostly Asian.
Wait, Alison Ung?
NG, how do you pronounce that?
Oh.
Ung. How do you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We're the knights who say Nya. Sorry, that's a Monty Python, Holy Grail.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so... But in the film, not only is the main character portrayed by Emma Stone, who is white.
One of the whitest people you could possibly
One of the whitest
hire.
people. Emma Stone's a great actor. Nothing against, like, her personally, but just, like, against this concept. But also, most of the other people in this film are white. And this is in Hawaii, where there's a much larger Asian...
Japanese especially.
Japanese especially. Yeah, like a lot more cultures in that population, and that's just not represented at all. And I don't think that's like the first film that's been shot in Hawaii or anywhere else with very like diverse culture that's just been sort of whitewashed.
You know what it is? It's Cameron Crowe. Cameron Crowe's a white director, I believe. He's
okay,
white.
Yeah.
And every movie he's done before has been... They're pretty much the whitest movies you can possibly ask for.
Okay.
Jerry Maguire.
Oh, okay.
And then you get the token black guy yelling things. I mean, I love his character, but like, he is the token black guy who's just yelling crazy things. And Jerry Maguire, as the white man, starts to learn from this this goofy, free-flowing black person, and he kind of inherits that in his own character and becomes more free-form himself.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not like a bad thing, but you definitely place these people of a certain ethnicity in certain roles, specific roles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to see that he would want to portray an Asian American person as being the whitest person on the earth.
Yeah.
As well. Although you can make the argument that maybe she's a halfie, and a lot of halfies look white with a certain Asian accent in their, like, I don't know, eyes or something.
Yeah. Okay. So I could sort of understand that with Emma because her eyes are like slightly narrow and like the average American eyes.
Wait,
but
I think her eyes are huge.
Really?
Her eyes are huge. Yeah.
Okay.
They're ginormous.
Maybe this is like this movie has successfully brainwashed me, and now I'm like actually seeing the Asian, which is like even worse.
God.
Yeah.
This is like crime against humanity. What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
He's trying to whitewash us.
Yeah.
Cameron Crowe. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and like, so just like before hearing about this movie, I'd seen another film by the founders of Wong Fu Productions, which is like an all-Asian sort of media group. It was called Everything Before Us. The whole cast was Asian, and it was fantastic. And I've met a lot of like aspiring Asian actors who are like, what? Yeah. Oh. Like this guy here, who are like really talented, and they totally could have cast at least like some Asians in the film. In fact, I think in Aloha, the highest like cast role for an Asian didn't even have a name. It was like...
Oh, you mean the top billed?
The top billed.
As in like the highest... As in like the one that was paid the most? Or the one that got the most screen time?
So, I guess... Well, I was thinking like in the credits, the one that appears first. Yeah. Didn't even have a name. It was some like anonymous role, like waitress.
As
or
Ling.
No, like not even Ling. It was just like a role.
I would have taken Ling.
Right, like Ling would have been better, like a tiny, like a tiny bit better. And just the fact that like a movie about Hawaii casts like an Asian as some anonymous role who isn't really acknowledged is sort of mind blowing.
Maybe they were all voted off the island. That's why.
Maybe.
Or this is a semi-futuristic Hawaii where all the Japanese have been kicked out.
Right. I mean, yeah. I hope not.
Not either. But yes, back on topic.
Yes. Well, that's still on topic. Yeah, and then it's interesting to compare like racial fluidity in media, which seems a lot more common. It has been a lot more common for sure, and like and then comparing that to how transracial identities are perceived in real life, and the fact that this is coming like right after the whole transgender fiasco with Caitlyn Jenner, definitely invites a comparison.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's bring the circle back around to the NAACP. The NAACP chick. What's her
Right.
name again? I keep on forgetting.
Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah.
Okay. And we are trying to pin down what exactly was wrong or not wrong with its entire move. People, of course, are reacting negatively towards this move because, yes, they are very aware of the history between these two races and the fact that she's trying to go from white to black. I'd honestly don't think it's that bad myself.
Right.
I mean, you're growing up as I'm not to say that white people are often victims of prejudice, but it's so very well known that African Americans are the recipients of that prejudice that forces a lot of white people to watch their actions and maybe even feel a little guilt from that history. And I can definitely see that, right? Like white guilt is a thing too.
Yeah.
You grow up and you realize that, wow, you have it easy. These people are suffering, and your descendants, most likely have done terrible things towards other racial groups in the past. How do you live up with that? How do you live with that? Right? And I see this move. I mean, she became president of this entire group, and she's done things to forward their movement. Right?
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I think I'm
still trying to.
There definitely would have been friction, I feel like, if she had been a white person while attempting to enact whatever policies that she's supportive of, right? Don't you think? I mean, she would have been under. I mean, there's also you know the whole renegade movement here?
Oh, yes. So, okay, I guess a really quick summary for people who don't know about this. Renegade is a new magazine on Harvard's campus, student-run. Its platform is like artistic expression by and for people of color. So all the submissions are by people of color, and that includes any basically non-white ethnicity or race. So there's like Asian, Black, Hispanic, like everything else too. And there were a lot of posters going on around campus, a very big social media campaign, and it featured like photos of student writers, and the caption was, "Because this is mine." Sort of like them taking ownership of themselves, their bodies, all that. And then there's a huge scandal where what was suspected to be like a white person posted a lot of parody posters that were much more like outrightly racist, which is not what Renegade was trying to be like at all. Some of them got like pretty inappropriate.
So I think a part of that negative reaction is because white people often feel a guilt, but also feel as though they are victims of racially driven collectives, right?
Yeah.
Because it so often harkens back to all the prejudice that all the white people have dealt towards these minority groups in the past. And so they feel as though they're being blamed for whatever issues might be there, right? Which is, they are probably, of course, to blame of the white people who are committing these crimes. But when you kind of generalize them as a whole, there are white people who do feel as though they are being swept up in this movement that they are not even a part of.
Right.
And that they might not even want to be associated with, but they are nevertheless, just because they're white. And it's a feeling that every other race feels because of the color of their skin. And when it's tough to pin down. But yes, it's I think there's this one comment they had is like, just because I'm white doesn't mean I'm racist. Something like that, right? That's one of the reactionary posters they put up when they tore down the Renegade posters.
And so it's interesting to think of the different ways like a white person could react to this negative feeling. One is to like just go all out and like mock the people back, which was counterproductive, I think, in my opinion, in this Renegade context. Or I wonder like to what extent Rachel Dolezal even like changed her appearance. She like tanned a lot. She changed her hair to appear more black. To what extent did she do that because of guilt?
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah.
And it was also very strategic of her to do that, because I think when there's the whole, like, along with the whole renegade movement, there's the ally movement, right, of the white people who want to be allies to whatever minority groups that want to assert their rights, assert their independence, assert their support them. And I think allies can be seen as either truly believing in that movement, and they can also be looked upon as doing it because of the way they feel guilt. So they all have the same intention, but they can diverge widely in their impact.
Exactly. And this is not limited just to race. Gender also huge issue. Like, there are a lot of like women activists who are always debating about whether there should be like male allies or whether they should just be like exclusively like women's groups.
Because when you automatically see an outsider try to come into your collective that is inherently bound together by one certain race, you're going to become a little suspicious, right? Saying, what are his true intentions? What exactly is he doing here? Does he actually really believe in what he? Because how can you fully commit to something that you can't 100% be a part of? Like, if you're not black, they might believe. People, especially part of the NAACP, they might not actually believe that she would be as fully committed into the movement if she were white, if any person were white, right?
Yeah.
So they probably wouldn't trust her as much, or treat her as seriously.
Right.
They automatically discount her. I feel like that's a reality that we face, even though a person might actually genuinely believe in what they're fighting for. Yeah. And so this is my theory, right? She strategically did this whole race change of race, I guess. It became black because she knew that if she were white, she came into the situation, they would not take her seriously at all. Yeah.
And and it's very interesting that people are like lashing out at her for changing her identity, even though
it's hard.
Like, her work wasn't bad; she's done great work. But it is difficult.
You're coming from an insanely easy position,
right?
And you want to join the minorities. Like, yeah, sure, join us. We have it hard. Yeah. Why not? Right? She's willing to do that because this is not even a fight that she has to fight. Yeah. And I think people are overreacting a little bit, in my honest opinion. I think I'm also not as invested or committed to this whole movement as other people are, but from my perspective, I think people aren't appreciating this move as much as they are, right? Yeah.
This is sort of like, this sounds like transgender movement in its like early stages. I don't know if it will like become the same, but there are like many parallels for sure. Just as an aside, in the comments for the Today Show interview with Rachel Dolezal on YouTube, which probably has like 80% dislikes, there are some like troll comments. So one person said like, "Oh, if Rachel can be black, like I want to be a cat." And if people don't like that I'm a cat, then screw them. I want to be a cat. And then someone else was like, "Oh, I want to be like some character from like a Disney movie or something." And if people like are hating on me for that, then so be it. And I wonder what that means if people aren't really taking this as seriously. Yeah.
It's something you do when you feel disempowered. You automatically make fun of it.
Okay.
You automatically make light of it. And I think there's truth in humor. I think there's truth in stand-up is based on that. It's about unspoken truths that nobody wants to talk about. But you're in a context where you can actually joke around about it. People feel better by you tackling whatever issue is there because it's funny, right? It's easier to digest. And I think that this is something that people are sympathizing with Rachel by making these kinds of jokes, right? Yeah. I think it speaks to living in a time when people are much more accepting of fluidity in general. I think it originates from the whole appeal of the American dream. Like, what is America all about? It's about social fluidity, right? Yeah. Moving across social classes. Because back then, the people who were in power wanted to perpetuate this idea that you are stuck in whatever role you're born into. whether it be your social class or identity, your race, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that were the rich white people, the WASP, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was seen in slavery. You know, you
course.
wanted the slaves to believe that this is all they could look forward to in life. This is your role, and you can't change. You see this in, I think it was, you see it in any kind of racially driven movement. You know, the Nazis.
Legislation.
Yeah, exactly.
Against any minorities, right?
And I think progress, for me, I think the right side of history is to support a sort of fluidity, because I think it allows for freedom. I think, and by principle, you know, it allows for people to have the agency to choose what they want to be, what they want to do in life. And I think that anyone who wants to take any steps to stymie that sort of progress might be on the wrong side of history. You understand the whole concept, the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's interesting to see that, you know, back then, slavers thought they were correct. They thought they were right. Mm-hmm. God allowed them to do this. Mm-hmm. You know, to subjugate people based on the color of their skin. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. And I see the same thing here. Possibly. Maybe. And it's not totally analogous. The whole the whole thing about Rachel being racially fluid. But I think it's a similar thing. I think people who react to this or criticize her for doing this isn't looking at the bigger picture here. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like there are a lot of questions now that I guess need to be taken into account, as with transgender, any other like fluidity in any other part of like the human experience. So like the main source of conflict here, I think, with Rachel is like the starting point and the end point. Like from where to where are you going? And like as we've said already, like the fact that she is already white. She's already white. And is like going to, it's like has turned into like a black person, or she identifies as black. It's very controversial. I wonder if the opposite direction had happened. Oh. What sort of media
would have been the exact opposite reaction? Like, oh my God, poor person for having to try to be white to have a better life. Aww.
Yeah.
No. And then, like, oh man.
if she had been like an Asian, she wanted to be black, or a black person wanted to be Asian, like the reaction would be very different. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, of course, Asians are awesome. So
they are.
So if a white person tried to be Asian, again, I get that. That's totally understandable. Yeah, just go ahead and be Asian. I'm just no, it's not totally awesome being Asian. We're everybody thinks we're good at math. Are you kidding me?
Oh God, yeah. Being Asian comes with its whole slew of stereotypes
and it's not like we have it hard, but we do have it hard relatively. Every time we get the bill, people are looking at me saying, "Hey, you want to calculate the tip and shit?"
We're the designated tip calculators, which never goes down well. Not
Actually,
for me.
I'm always the one putting out sharing, or someone else. I would never do that. I'm just not. That's not like that. I'm bad at math. It's just because I don't want to perpetuate this whole Asian stereotype. Of course, that's why I do it. Of course. I mean, I would, but will I? No, I'm not going to do it. Because progress, man.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah. No, but that's been a fascinating conversation. Are there any lasting thoughts? Or
I don't know. I guess like there's so I guess the media coverage of this issue, this is a general conclusion, the media coverage of this issue has seemed to be very one-sided, but our conversation, I get from this conversation that it's much more complex, and I hope that complexity comes out in other people's conversations.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I see things. I try to put myself on the devil's advocate, especially when I come across anything from the media. It's always like, all right, this is something questionable already. Yeah. Right. Let's
automatically.
And I think that the media is definitely, skewing this the wrong way. I don't know. Like, I think because the fact that she has to live in a harder position, it's tough to pretend to be black.
Yeah.
To be anything else, to live a lie for your entire life, that's hard. Mm-hmm. How could you voluntarily want to do that? It's because she actually wants to help. So to want to help and actually helping and to live a harder life in that process, many ways.
And to live an even harder life because you have to like give up your job.
Yeah.
Once it comes out.
Yeah.
And then like just to be given so much crap for it. Yeah.
Like,
it's,
I'm not saying support her, but don't criticize her.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Of course, I might be speaking from the wrong position myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not black.
Right.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, say about that. I'm Asian, so I'd be a better authority on people turning Asian. But yeah. Anyways, it's a tough thing, and it's. Let's just blame it all on society. Society.
It's always society.
It's all social construct, that kind of thing. So, yeah. That's been a great episode, though.
It has.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll do the normal outro. Please subscribe to us on iTunes if you haven't already, and YouTube.
The Culture Jockeys.
Yes.
Bam.
And
click
also
the like button down below.
Click the like button on our Facebook page as well. And as for me, you can find me on Twitter at SherryWho42, and I recently started my own, a new blog, which is like writing about music, since I'm doing a lot of music-related things this summer. That's just sherrywho.wordpress.com.
What happened to Not Sound?
404 not sound. That's my Tumblr. It's like more just informal, music.
It's 404 dash not sound is just so funny. I like it. I think it's really charming.
Are you following me?
Of course.
You mean the name.
Of course I've been following you.
Okay.
What kind of question is that? Jeez. Anyways.
Okay.
You should follow her.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
You can find me on the Facebook at Richard Nguyen. You can
always.
find me on the Twitters now. I joined Twitter.
Yes. And guess what his handle is? It's the best.
At
the best.
GG Yellow Swag. I can't believe it hasn't been taken at this point.
GG Yellow Swag.
Yeah.
What right mind would not take that already?
Wow. GG Yellow Swag tweeted this. GG Yellow Swag tweeted that. It's amazing.
Oh man. It's just it's automatically right there in your face. Yeah. So you better follow.
And you can follow my WordPress blog at Life in 24 frames per second. Also
awesome.
Right. That's the end of our episode. Thanks for listening, boys and girls.
Yes, thank you. And tune in this weekend, or later this week, for our second episode of the week, which will be a traditional movie plus general topic format. Super excited for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Peace.